No surprise, I told you it's coming, but the announcement finally came out yesterday. The largest Social Security increase in 40 years. I'm going to explain and give you some perspective coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, I've been warning you, this is going to be the largest increase in Social Security in decades, and sure enough, the Social Security Administration announced that yesterday. Let's get into those details, but first, okay, this comes on the heels of the CPI. The actual inflation data came out just a few days ago as well, and obviously they're linked. The increase that Social Security folks get is based on a different measure of CPI, typically CPI-W for urban prices, but anyway. But let's take a look at what prices have been doing over the past year, that CPI data. Annually, CPI has come in at 5.4%, but in reality, what's that mean? 42% increase in gas. That's astounding. And yet, I'm not going to show it here, but there's been some other analysis that shows affordability of gasoline, and it's still extremely affordable. We just don't like the price at the pump. We're still paying the same. We're paying the same amount that we were paying back in 08. So anyway, used cars up 24%. Used cars have outperformed the stock market. Gas utilities. This is the one that concerns me. Meat, fish, eggs. So your basic, your staple protein up 10%. Electricity up 5%. Food away from home up 4.7%. But I've got 2 kids in travel sports, and so it feels like that has been, it feels huge. It actually feels like we're spending way too much at the restaurant. Transportation, apparel, shelter up 3%. Now shelter, gosh, that's a misnomer. I mean, we know the average price has increased over, the average price of a house has increased over 11% over the past year. So that's a misnomer there. But overall, guys, the inflation data that came out tells us one thing very, very clear. Inflation is not transitory, at least not yet. Those are real. That is real increase, and we have not. I don't see it slowing down just yet. Did a video that recently about wage pressures and all this sort of stuff, and we'll see. Inflation, okay, and technology work against each other, okay? So technology is this driving force. It will tamp down inflation eventually, but we have pushed so much money in the system. The data has come out with CPI. Inflation is not transitory. We'll see if it slows down, hopefully soon, but it's not transitory. All right, I get off my soapbox. All right, what does this mean for Social Security? The largest increase in the last 40 years, Social Security is increasing 5.9%. That is huge. Take a look at this historical data. That is the largest that we've seen since the 1980s. No surprise there. If you take a look, so 5.9%. Last year it was 1.3, 1.6, 2.8. Okay, so these are meager numbers. 5.9 is a huge increase. You got to go all the way back to 2008, where it was anywhere close. 5.8% is what the increase was. And then, of course, that was right on the heels or right before the great financial crisis, and so Social Security recipients didn't receive an increase for the 2 years following that. So that's 5.9%. That tops the marks going all the way back to the early 80s when we had that's the last time we saw huge inflation. We saw inflation go up like crazy. We saw interest rates go up like crazy. And let's see, in 1982, the increase was 7.4%. The year before that was 11.2%. And then I believe the largest increase on record with Social Security was in 1980, 14.3%. So I sure hope we're not going there. To me, this is good news. 5.9% increase in Social Security. That is good news. Why? Because we've already had to deal with the rising prices. That's why I showed you the CPI data before I told you about the Social Security increase, because those are price changes that have already happened. That's not expected price changes coming up. That's what's already happened. So if you're on your fixed income or you're on Social Security, you've had to deal with just a meager, 1.3% increase in your Social Security going into this last year, where you saw actual prices go up 5, 6, even more percent. You've had to deal with it. So now getting this 5.9% increase is going to feel like a much needed release and relief to your daily present financial position, okay? The question then is, what will happen with prices over the next year? Is this 5.9% also going to feel like a meager amount because prices are going to keep on soaring or not? Let's put this in dollar terms, real dollar terms. The average Social Security recipient receives about $1,500 a month or so, so a 5.9% increase. They'll see a $92 a month increase. That is real money, folks. That is real money. Let's just round this. If you're receiving $2,000 in Social Security, this is $118 increase. If you delayed Social Security, maybe you started drawing it at 70, something like that, and your Social Security payment is $3,000 a month. This is a $177 a month increase. That's real money, and it is refreshing. So to me, the question is, where does it go from here? Where does inflation go from here? Is this a much needed relief based on last year and all the price increases that you've already had to absorb, and now you're finally catching up and it'll be good? Or are we going to see prices continue to go up and therefore this 5.9% is just a drop in a bucket? Also, at the time that I'm recording this, I have not seen, I don't believe they've announced Medicare Part B and Part D premium changes for 2022 as well. So we'll see how much of this 5.9% Social Security increase actually has to go towards Medicare. The way I do the math, I think it should be manageable. Right now, Medicare Part B, the base rate is $148.50, $148.50 per person for Medicare Part B. A 5.9% increase on that would be about an $8, $9 increase, okay? I think the expectations is it will be a $10 increase. So instead of $148.50, it'll be $158.50. If the average person's receiving a $92 increase in their Social Security, to give $10 to Medicare, I think we'd all be comfortable with, but we'll see. Work with your certified financial planner on this. If you are in retirement or on a fixed income, make sure you've got a great income plan. This also might influence some of you that are about to make a Social Security decision. So work with your CFP, make sure you're planning for this, and hopefully this is a welcome surprise for those of you, maybe not surprise, a welcome situation for those of you on Social Security. So there you have it. Work with your CFP. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can find one on my team. Find us online, korhorn.com or wisemoneyshow.com, or you can always just send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.